Listen, guys, I didn't just grow up without money. I grew up on welfare, food stamps, government cheese, 3 pair of pants for the entire 7th grade school year. I know what real poverty feels like. And after being poor for almost 40 years, I learned 7 things. These 7 things completely changed how I see money, how I see people, how I see discipline, and really how I see life. These 7 things aren't excuses. These aren't complaints, okay? These are the truths of poverty and what it taught me. So let's jump right into this video. The first thing that I learned was that wealth, real wealth, starts with belief, okay? Now, I grew up with very little money, right? But let me tell you something that the vast majority of people don't expect to hear. That is this. Even when I was broke, I believed I would be wealthy one day. I believed that I could do and be and have whatever I put my mind to from a very early age. Not because I had some type of proof and not because I had some type of examples in front of me, right? Or role models, because I didn't have those. And not because I grew up around any type of money, right? No, I believed in spite of all that, right? See, that belief is what kept me personally disciplined, right? That belief is what kept me personally hungry. Right? It was the belief that kept me from giving up when I was just living paycheck to paycheck, right? When I was stressed out and I sort of didn't know what I would do next to try to make a little bit of money to build some wealth. Listen, I didn't see wealth yet with my own eyes, but here's the kicker. I saw it in my mind long before it ever showed up in my life, because here's the truth. Poverty can't hold a person who believes. See, belief is bigger and more powerful than poverty is. Belief is bigger and stronger than your current circumstances. Belief is bigger than where you grew up or how you grew up or what type of education your parents had or how much money you had. Look, the start of your life can't really block a person who believes there's more out there for them, right? You ever see somebody who starts a race, a real race behind, and then they come back to win? That's a believer, right? Doesn't matter where you look. Belief is powerful, right? Belief is what drives your behavior, and behavior drives or creates your habits. And then those habits is what ultimately builds wealth. And then that wealth is what creates freedom for you. And it all starts with belief. And this is what people miss, okay? It's easy to believe when things are going good. It's hard to believe when you're living the struggle life every day. But here's the deal. That is when belief matters the most. See, my belief didn't come from having money. My money came from me first having belief. Before I had wealth, before I had vision, before I had options, before I had any success, I had expectations. And so belief, ultimately, I believe that belief was my advantage over everybody that started where I started from. It was really my fuel. Belief was the one thing that poverty couldn't take from me. Poverty couldn't steal from me, right? Poverty couldn't dampen or rip away from me was my belief. And if you don't believe that you can do better, guess what? You'll never do better. Now that takes me to number 2. The second thing that I had to learn personally from being poor for most of my life was this. It's not where you start, it's where you end up. See, nobody watching this right now picked your parents. You don't pick your parents. Right? You don't pick the city where you're from. You don't pick the money situation that you was born into in your personal life, right? Nobody picks that. You don't get to choose age 0 to 18 in your life. But guess what? You do get to choose everything after that. And for a long time, me personally, I didn't choose anything other than going to college, getting a job. I let life sort of choose for me. I coasted along. I just reacted. And sometimes I blamed, right? And I drifted. See, my story became my excuse. My childhood of not having nothing, growing up, right? That became my identity. And for a lot of people, this is what happens. My past became ultimately my ceiling. That's the problem, right? And this is what I learned the hard way, okay? Yes, your story does matter, right? But don't get addicted to the pain of your story. Don't get addicted to the woe is me of your story. There's no success in staying wounded, right? There's no progress in staying and living in the past. Your story is your foundation. Granted, let's be real, right? Your story matters. But don't make your story your prison. Because the moment that I embraced personal responsibility and doing things despite my story, everything changed for me, my money included. Didn't happen overnight, but ultimately it did happen. So hear me when I say this, right? It's not where you start, it's where you finish. And the person you become along the way is huge. Now, number 3 is this. The third thing that I learned from being poor is that discipline is freedom. And this is the lesson right here that nobody really wants to hear. See, the broke version of me, I wanted shortcuts. I wanted hacks. I wanted things to happen fast money, right? I wanted things the easier way. But watch this, discipline, self-control, nah, that didn't sound like fun. I didn't want that. But here's the deal. Poverty is not fun either. Stress is not fun either. Not being able to afford your bills is not fun either. Late fees are not fun. Poverty ain't no fun. Who wants to live a life where you got to avoid the mailbox because you don't want to open no bills because you don't have money to pay? So not having options in your life, that ain't fun either. And here's what I eventually learned. The more disciplined I am, the farther along and more progress I'll get to reach freedom, right? When you're sitting there disciplined with all your money, you sleep better. Guarantee you. You think more clearer, right? Not emotional, but logically. You move smarter and you stop living just one crisis to another small crisis, right? Discipline gave me personally peace, and it gave me the options I wanted to start moving towards financial freedom. Discipline gave me confidence. Listen, and here's the biggie. The wealthiest version of you is going to be the most disciplined version of you. Now, the fourth thing that I learned from being poor for a really long time is this. Whatever you hate, you'll never have. See, me personally, I used to hate rich people, right? I thought rich people were greedy. Everything they did to get rich had to be something nefarious against other people. I thought that rich people were just selfish and just crooked. Then here's the deal. I realized this. I had never really met a rich person. I had never really talked to a rich person. I just had all these thoughts in my head. I was hating on a caricature of what I thought a rich person was, my perspective. But here's the deeper truth. You cannot become what you resent. If you resent money, you won't attract money. If you resent wealth, you're going to avoid wealth subconsciously. If you resent success or successful people, you're going to self-sabotage your own success because your subconscious will not allow you, never allow you to become the thing that you hate. See, I had to unlearn that bitterness, right? I had to sort of rewire my relationship with wealth and rethink my perspective on wealth and money. And I had to stop blaming and I had to start becoming. That's a shift that changed my life. Now, let's go to number 5. The fifth thing that I learned from years and years, 40 years of being poor, is this. Whatever you mismanage, you're going to lose. For years, I mismanaged a lot of things, okay? My time, my money, my opportunities, mismanaged my jobs, right? My credit, my habits, my energy, what I put energy towards, right? And guess what? I lost all of it. Not because of luck or bad breaks, but no, I lost it because of mismanagement. Mismanagement is going to always lead to loss. Mismanagement is the key to more in your life. If you want more money, manage the money you already have very, very well. If you want more time, manage your priorities better. If you want more health, better health, manage your habits around your health, how you eat, how you exercise, how you move, etc. If you want more freedom in life, you got to manage your discipline. That's why I wrote the book, Manage Your Way to Millions. Because listen, everything changes once you learn how to manage what's already in your hands. Think about it. You give your child something and they mismanagement, you're going to give them more of it? No, you probably won't, right? It's the same concept, same principle. Whatever you mismanage in life, you lose. And money is no exception to that rule. Now, I asked you to stick around for number 6. Here's the deal with number 6. Number 6 is poverty is usually loud, especially in America. Poverty is loud and wealth is quiet. Listen, when I was broke, I was a loud broke. Loud opinions, loud arguments, nice cars, right? Loud cars, it could be seen. Loud spending, loud insecurity. Poor people in America specifically talk a lot. Wealthy people, they usually do less talking and they do more thinking and they do more strategizing and they do more planning and they put systems in place to work in their life and in their favor. That's what rich people, wealthy people tend to do. People that are building wealth. Poor people, they like to show off, right? Overcompensate by buying all the name brand stuff. Wealthy people plan. Poor people want attention. In America, poor people want attention. Wealthy people, they want freedom. Two different mindsets. The loudest life is usually the most fragile life. The quietest life is usually the most stable life with the stable foundation. And here's the deal. Once I realized this, I stopped trying to be seen with the fanciest car, the latest fashions, the latest name brand this and name brand that. I started trying to be more secure and work on the things that you can't see. And that's when I started building real wealth. Now, number 7 is this. The 7th thing I learned from being poor for a long time is simply this. Money exposes you, and your money tends to expose the people around you. See, money don't change people. Like we always say, money, she got money, got different. No, money exposed who that person already was. If you're irresponsible, when you get a lot of money, it'll be exposed. If you're disciplined, when you get a lot of money, money's going to highlight it and you'll just be even more disciplined. If you're a generous person, good heart, money's going to amplify your generosity. If you're a selfish person, money's going to magnify that. And also, money is going to expose the people around you. When you start improving your life, you start leveling up, you start making better decisions, becoming more and more disciplined, you're going to shock some people. Some people are going to support you all the way. But look, a lot of people, they're going to drift away from you. Some people are going to envy you and be jealous of you. Some people are going to attack you for no reason. Some people are going to misunderstand where you're coming from. Poverty attracts certain people. Wealth attracts a different set of people, right? Money is just an x-ray, right? It begins to reveal everything when you have money about you and about the people around you. Now listen, I was poor for almost 40 years, guys, but I don't blame anybody. I learned from it. I grew from it. And then watch this. I refuse, and I say refuse to ever go back again. Never again. That's the 7 things that I learned from being poor for 40 years. If you want to check out my new book, go over to manageyourwaytomillions.com and swing over to smartmoneybro.com for my full 4 steps to maximize your money. It's a system. If you got value from this video, do me a favor and share this video out with other people. Somebody who you think can use it. Smash that like button below for me and drop me a comment below. I want to hear from you. Listen, the absolute best person who's going to take care of the old you is the young you. Take care of people. But take care of yourself because you're people too. Until the next video, peace.